Hello and welcome to the channel. I am Travis, and today we are going to be listening to Ningen Isu Farewell to the World. This is going to be the second Ningen Isu song on my channel. The first one, Heartless Scat, I compared it to Leonard Skinner Freebird. Their guitar playing is out of this world. I think their guitar playing is my favorite of the Japanese metal genre. So yeah, we're just going to get right into it. So weird. Alright, let's go. You can't tell me that guitar playing is not just so enjoyable to listen to. Man, it's a little darker of a song when you read the lyrics. Damn, that guitar playing is just phenomenal, dude. Dude. Dude, how do you not love that? Let's be honest. Dude, his guitar playing, out of this world. To me, personally, that is just, of all the Japanese metal that I've listened to, my favorite guitar playing. I just love his guitar playing. Watching this music video, I found him so amusing because he's over there, just the faces he makes, it's like he's like making love to that bass guitar. He makes some funny faces. I never knew. I didn't know they had English lyrics underneath. So a lot of the time, like I obviously it's Japanese, so I can't understand. But with the English lyrics, it's like, man, it seems like he's reminiscing about the old times. And the thing is with every generation, whatever generation you're born in, like your times growing up, in a sense, it's usually like people perceive that as the best time. So like when I was growing up, we had like Blockbuster, and like I was the generation with like I still know dial up, and so floppy disks and stuff like that. So it was just fun. Like it was so interesting going to Blockbuster and renting a game for a week. And now it's like, me being a gamer, it's like now you just buy everything digitally and you don't have like the physical copies anymore. And it's like I kind of miss those days when you would just go to Blockbuster and you would see a whole like thing of games, and you would have like the books in the case, and you'd just be reading it. Like you would have guides through the books and stuff like that. You could buy guides instead of just looking it up on the internet, and it was just a different time. Now it's way more convenient, but it's like you kind of reminisce about those old times as well. And it seems like that's kind of what he was doing. This song's amazing. I love this band. It's just an amazing band. I just love his guitar playing. I kind of wonder if they have like versions of this song of just guitar playing, because I could just fall asleep to that guitar playing. It's just phenomenal. Bottomless Darkness, the world at its last moments. False love, blood running down the Virgin Mary's cheeks. I want to run away, I want to get out. The days of my youth, my dreams are all now far away. Teachings of justice are nowhere to be found. Fists of righteousness are nowhere to be found. Phrases of freedom are nowhere to be found. Signs of peace are nowhere to be found. So he feels there's no justice, no righteousness, no freedom, and no peace. He has a strong opinion on, the current times. And, like I was saying, is, my parents, they feel their generation was the best, and I feel like my generation's the best, so on and so forth. So I say, farewell, world. Farewell, the days I held dear. Let us go forth and seek the light. Bottomless swamps, the prophesized age. Hammer of punishment, the heavens and earth are raging. I want to cry out, I'm at my limit. The days of my memories, the dreams of my past, where are you now? Yeah, man, it sounds like he has no happiness right now. It sounds like he just misses what used to be, probably when he was growing up. And yeah, nostalgia is a very powerful thing. We miss those little bits and pieces that remind us of our days of old, back when we were younger. And I think it has something to do with, it kind of brings us back to that point in time. Back, if I see something and it reminds me of back when I was like 12 years old, it makes me happier. It brings me back to that time, and it makes me think about, how I felt or what I was doing at that point in time in my life and how the world was. And yeah, nostalgia is a very powerful thing. Smiles of babies are nowhere to be found. So I interpret that as like they're being brought into a world that isn't very happy, or he perceives that they're being brought into a world that maybe isn't in the best interest for these babies being raised. The risks of maiden. Okay, so I found, because I know the translation's a little bit different. Thrists. I don't know if I've ever heard that word personally. Girls don't long for romance. So how is that in the Japanese culture? Like from what I've seen in YouTube videos and stuff like that, just from people living there or people that are interviewing there, it seems like romance is kind of, you can't really display romance too much. Like you guys can't like display public affection and stuff of that nature. Like, how is the romance culture in Japan? I would love to know, just from like a native's perspective, or just other people, like if they've seen anything differently. But it just seems like the romance culture in Japan is just so much more like repressed, if that's the right word for it. It's interesting. Ambitions of young boys are nowhere to be found. Boys don't cherish ambition. Yeah, this is this is from the writer's perspective. He doesn't feel, boys have ambitions anymore. How is it in Japan? Like, are you guys ambitious in the sense that, like, do they motivate you to do what you want to do, and do they help you find your interest in life or what you want to be when you get older? I'm curious. Vows of chastity are nowhere to be found. We are not faithful to anybody. Okay. Now this is like the biggest culture shock in Japan from what I've seen. And it's like, wow, okay, this is like weird for me. But I know different cultures, different, perspectives. So from what I've seen, vows of chastity are nowhere to be found. People aren't faithful to anybody. So from what I've seen YouTubers talk about is that in Japan, what we perceive as cheating is totally okay as long as you don't emotionally cheat. So we consider, at least in America, cheating anytime you lay down with somebody that isn't your partner. But in Japan, from what I've seen, is it seems like you can do that as long as it's just for that. And as long as there's no emotions involved, as long as you don't emotionally cheat, it's not considered cheating to some people. And that's really interesting. So that was my first thought when you said we are not faithful to anybody. I just think of like that kind of culture, and it's interesting. You'll have to let me know. So I scream, farewell world, farewell the days I held dear, let us go forth and seek the light. A new era, a limitless love, a forever unending paradise. A wonderful world, a boundless horizon, an eternal blooming garden. See, this sounds so nice. Every new era has their own paradise. So that's kind of what I'm interpreting by that. A forever unending paradise is like the new generation. This era is going to be what they perceive as their paradise, just like this guy considers what he grew up with to be his paradise in a sense. People remain people, staying as they are. Love remains love, holding each other, melting together. That sounds nice. Raining of blood, a world full of strife. People in silence with their heads hung. What do they wait for? I want to start running. I want to take off flying. The days of nostalgia, traces of a dream that won't return. Yeah, so that's his perception of how he sees people. People are just silent. They have their heads down. What do they wait for? Now, you could kind of when I read this with their heads hung, I think of like sadness. But then I also think about maybe from his perspective, being an older gentleman, he could be looking at it as people are just in their phones, just looking down all the time. And maybe that's his way of saying, like, they're just going day in, day out. They don't, like he was saying earlier, they don't have any ambition. They're just going day in, day out, just looking at their phones, or they're just sad. Probably just looking at their phones in silence. Like, we don't talk as a people no more. And that's fair. Like, I mean, you go out to eat with friends, and I guarantee you there's some of those friends that are just on their phones and not living in the moment. You go to a concert and all the people have their phones up, people don't really live in the moment too much anymore. I want to start running. I want to take off flying. The days of nostalgia, traces of a dream that won't return. Yeah, he just wants to get away from all of this, and that it's fair. He misses the times when he was younger, his unending paradise, and of course, things change as time progresses, and I know currently, like when I was younger, I enjoyed those times. I enjoyed Blockbuster and renting video games and nostalgia. I miss those times. And do I want to run away from how it is now? Not necessarily, but I understand that sometimes change isn't always good, you know? Sometimes it's not for the best. And when you are so used to a given time period, like change is always hard. When you're used to a given time period growing up, like you want it to stay that way. That's what you're used to, that's what you're comfortable with. He just wants to run away from that. The figures of beasts are nowhere to be found, the shapes of wild birds, the sounds of winged insects, the green of leaves and grass. Yeah, so maybe it sounds like he misses nature. There's nothing but people, buildings, businesses, stuff of that nature, and he misses just maybe back when he could just enjoy the natures and the birds and the beasts, just nature as a whole. Like he misses those days. And now you walk out the door and it's just nothing but tall skyscrapers and just people littered everywhere. He just misses the days when, I guess it was just people were more in tune with nature and there was just more nature to be enjoyed. Yeah, it sounds like a guy that is reminiscing about what he once grew up with, and he just misses that time period, and that's fair. I think we can all relate to that. I think most of us will look at the time that we grew up with to being the best time. Like, I feel like the music I grew up with was the best music, of course. And all this new music, all this new, it's, we don't really like change, and I think we can all relate to this in some context. It's a great song. I enjoy this band. I mean, I can't really say more. I love the band. I definitely will listen to more of their music, and you'll probably see more of their songs on my channel. So let me know what you think. I mean, do you relate to what he was saying about like his time period, or like what do you miss about your time? Like, what are you nostalgic about that you wish didn't change? Let me know. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.